Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at theofftherecordshow@gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo, and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B. Yo, we in here. Hold. I got the air horns. What else you want? You want some applause? You want some? I got you.
Let's get the applause, man. Get the applause. Get the applause. Make us feel like we're in the studio, man. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B.
Why you so mean? Your boy Scotty B. What's good, man? Happy Father's Day. How was your Father's Day?
Father's Day was good, man. Father's Day was good. Nice and relaxing. Shout out to my cousin through marriage, Aaliyah Bushrod, creator of AB Creations, for creating this shirt. I got one for you too, man. Got a
cool
sweatshirt for you, but definitely shout out to her.
How
was your Father's Day, man?
It was good. We was in a house. We ate. I got some gifts, and it was some good gifts too. So I think we might be past the ties and tools. I think we're progressing. We're progressing as one. But before we even go any further, I want to say happy anniversary to my wife. Today's our anniversary. So 14 years. So yeah.
Wow, man, that's amazing, man. 14 years of marriage. You know what? I knew it was something I was forgetting on June 24th, man. Really, because it gets closer to my birthday,
right?
And then I know it's some milestones in people's lives close to my birthday, and I was trying to think. I was like, whose birthday am I forgetting? But it was your anniversary, man. Happy anniversary, man.
Appreciate it. So man. Where should we start, man? We got let's start with NASCAR. We never talk NASCAR.
I don't even want to start there.
You don't want to start there?
Nah, because that discussion is gonna go on really long.
Okay. All right. We don't talk NASCAR, and I've been waiting to talk. So we can wait. NBA has today actually is the day. It's like the soft, if players are gonna play it, if players are gonna play, they need to let their teams know. But the thing is, it's kind of like you still have a week to change your mind, because teams don't have to submit their rosters until July 1st. And right now there's they're going through this period where teams are, for those guys that aren't gonna play, teams are filling their rosters with other guys who they want to play. So that's the period that we're in right now, as far as with the NBA.
Well, I gotta commend the NBA because they did get it right in the sense of having this bubble. And again, we don't know how the NBA is going to play out. I'll talk a little bit more about baseball after we finish with the NBA.
Right.
But I think at this point, they've come up with the safest way to return back to sports with having the Disney World, having the bubble, having the social distancing rules, and just pretty much locking down the players while they pretty much play. So the shout out to them for that. As we progress closer, it's going to get interesting, because I'm waiting on that one star to be like, you know what? I just ain't with it.
So far, you got Bertans from the Wizards. You got Avery Bradley. Who else? I think those
you got Trevor Ariza.
Trevor Ariza. But Trevor Ariza's reason is a little different than everybody else's.
Oh, absolutely. But he still is sitting out. You know, the
Yeah.
fact that he's in a custody battle, you know, not to put that out there. I mean, was pretty much common, whatnot. But he doesn't want to leave his son for a month.
And I get that because I think right now he only has like a weekend or a day, a weekend a month or something like that, and it's real crazy. So I definitely understand his reasoning, and I commend him for that because you got some guys that would have been like, well, it is what it is. I'll see you after the season, which I would feel some sort of way if someone would do that, and there's a teammate of mine. That's a slippery slope. You don't want to really get into someone's like personal business, but yeah, man.
So let me ask you this, right? Because team sports is ultimately about who's got the best chemistry. I mean, yeah, you got talent, and yeah, you got the money that kind of plays into it. Do you look at somebody differently if they don't want to come and grind with you, and you're on that championship run? So, like, let's take Avery Bradley.
Okay.
For instance, the Lakers have a legitimate shot of winning it all.
Yep.
Do you look at him differently, or
No.
are you just like, okay?
No. And I don't, because these are different circumstances. You know, he has little kids at home, and I believe he has a baby at the house. So it's like you got to respect that. You can't, and I think that's also where the NBA gets it right, is that if they don't want to show up, if they don't want to play, then they're not penalized. You know what I'm saying?
So let's go back to Avery Bradley. Do you think that he makes that big of a difference on that Laker team?
He's the starting point guard.
Yeah,
he's the starting guard. Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
You think that that's a tremendous loss?
They can still win the championship without Avery Bradley, but the things that he does, that's and he's been with the team the whole season. So yeah, that's a tremendous. You're losing a starter. It ain't like they just losing. It ain't like they just losing like the 8th, 9th, 10th man on the bench. He's a starter. No matter what you feel about Avery Bradley, he's a starter.
I didn't say I didn't feel anything about Avery Bradley.
I knew where you was going, though. I knew where you was going.
No. I actually agree with you.
Okay.
I think a lot of the things that he does doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet.
Right.
So I think it is a huge loss. And I heard that they're going to sign Deion Waiters, and they're going to sign.
But Deion Waiters is already signed to them.
I'm sorry, J.R. Smith. That's
the
one that wasn't signed to him.
Which is like, I mean, I guess. I guess. I honestly, I want to see what Dwight Howard does, because if Dwight Howard doesn't play, do you go back and get
DeMarcus Cousins?
DeMarcus Cousins, right?
Yes,
I think you will have to. I think he's probably
healthy.
He's healthy. He's the best big on the market. So I think you will have to go get DeMarcus Cousins. Like,
if DeMarcus Cousins shows up and he's Golden State DeMarcus Cousins, that's an upgrade from Dwight Howard.
I don't know, because Dwight Howard is healthy, and Dwight Howard's been balling this year. I'm not gonna say he was like Orlando Dwight Howard, but Dwight Howard has been having a pretty good year.
Define pretty good year. Because I agree with you, but I disagree with you.
You about to make me go pull up his stats or something?
Well, statistically, he's having probably his worst year.
Yeah, but they're not asking him. He doesn't need to be.
Right.
And he's a defensive presence. Yeah, he's a defensive presence. I mean, he's averaging 7.5 points, damn near 7.5 rebounds. So and he's another big. So I'm just envisioning a lineup of a front line of AD, Dwight Howard, and JaVale McGee, with LeBron at the point, and you could put what's his name, Kuzma at the 2 if you want to, or Danny Green at the 2. How are you gonna get to the lane? How are you gonna get to the lane?
But I want to be honest. If I've got a healthy DeMarcus Cousins, I would rather have DeMarcus Cousins in there than Dwight Howard at this point.
Defensively, no.
I think AD and DeMarcus Cousins complement each other well. You know,
hold on, Scott. I'm not gonna let you do that because you on this show, we not right here because we were in the studio. You didn't say those words when DeMarcus Cousins was in New Orleans. You said they don't. You said they don't get along. You said they don't get along. You did. No. I will go get the tape.
You got to go get the tape. Okay. Nah, they played well with each other. I mean, if you look at statistically, I mean, they were both over 20 point, over 10 point guys. What I did say about the New Orleans Hornets at the time when they were playing together was something was kind of missing. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have and you saw it when DeMarcus Cousins went down. You know, AD had to step up and shoulder the load a little bit more. So they can play together.
Okay.
And I think that year that DeMarcus had with Golden State to where he had to take more of a reduced role. I mean, keep in mind, he still averaged 16 and 9 with the Golden State Warriors on a reduced role. So if you throw him in there and you tell him like, look, I just need you to get me 10 and 10, he can do that with ease. He can also it allows LeBron James to kind of facilitate, to take nights off. You know, if DeMarcus Cousins came back healthy, now I think that could be a steal.
Oh no, absolutely no. I agree, but I mean he's had so many injuries. I don't know if we're gonna get, because even that year in Golden State, he only played like 30 games. He played like I guess that's a third of the season. So,
but you got to think he's been off for like a year. You know what I mean? Again, so on top of him sitting out pretty much the whole year, yeah, he was a little banged up, got banged up in the finals, worked himself back, and then he had another injury. He's still been out for about a year, and they're saying that he's healthy now. With the rest, I mean, I'm scared to see LeBron James come back after having 3 months off, or Giannis coming back.
And not to mention LeBron had extra time off last year because they didn't make it to the playoffs. So look, we don't normally do this so early in the show, but it's a question that was posted.
Okay.
So here you go. So if the NBA efforts does not materialize, would you guys be for a $10 million alumni purse basketball tournament in a safe city?
I would.
Who's the $10 million going to?
The purse, the winner.
I mean, but who's playing? So the alumni. So these are like all retired players.
Well, you have to ask. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I would want to see that. If we can't get the season, then let's just move forward. We're gonna get. So we're not gonna get the Ice Cubes League, the Big Three. We're not going to get the Big Three this year, but we are going to get the TBT tournament. You know what I'm saying?
So something I'm a little skeptical about is I don't know if we're going to have a baseball season.
Oh, we're going to have a baseball season.
This baseball with no bubble. So they're going to open training camp on July 1st, right?
A week from today.
So we're a week away. And then we're July 24th is when they open up the actual season.
Is it the 24th or 23rd? One of the, yeah, I think it's the 24th. I think it's the 24th.
We're a range of a month.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. So you got training camp, you got no bubble, you got the states that's peaking. You look at Florida, you look at Texas, you look at Arizona. That's where a lot of these baseball players live. You look at some of the Rockies; they've came up positive. It's one team I'm forgetting that had 7 people that just tested positive. I think baseball, we could see them start, but I wouldn't be surprised if they end up shutting down.
So here's my take. I think we're gonna have a season. It's only 60 games, and I don't want to just say only like, to them it's only 60 games and they pissed about it, but they're willing to accept that. So the more casual fan is because if you only played a 60-game season last year, the Nationals they're not World Series champs. You know what I'm saying? Because they started really slow, and then they got really hot. So if you have someone like, you have all these, like you said, some of these guys that are being tested, they're getting tested positive for coronavirus. I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying it's not a big deal, because it's a deal. But what we've seen is we have seen a spike in cases, but we haven't seen a spike in deaths. Actually, the deaths have gone down. So to me, what that says is there's more people getting tested, but there's more people we have more knowledge too. It's only 3-4 months of knowledge, but we have a little bit more knowledge to everything that's going on. So
I guess where my concern is their potential. If they're not in a bubble, and you're having them fly from city to city, and you're not monitoring what they're doing after the baseball game, they've got the potential to infect all their teammates. And yeah, they may not die from it, but what happens if you bring it back and you infect everybody on your team, or you infect half of your team? At what point is Major League Baseball going to look and be like, okay, well, we got to shut down? Because if they got to self-quarantine for 14 days.
14 days.
Yeah, and you already have a tight schedule with the 60 games. Are you going to postpone the game because this team couldn't play? Is it a forfeit? And those things, I think, with Major League Baseball, they're not as defined as they are in the NBA. I feel like the NBA has a protocol to where it's like, all right, look, you leave this bubble, you can't play. Opposed to the baseball players, they're kind of willy-nilly with it. And to me, like, when you look at it from the outside, they're at risk of starting up, something happening, and then having to cancel the whole season.
So the good thing is that they have minor leagues. So what I think is going to happen, and I could be completely wrong, but what I think is going to happen is let's take the Nationals, for instance. I don't know who. Okay. Yeah, let's just take the Nationals, for instance. And their minor leagues, their triple, single, and double A's, they don't. I don't think they're not having the season. So you still have that core of guys that you can use. So let's just say your first baseman gets coronavirus, he has to quarantine. And again, not making light of it, but it's just you almost have to look at it as an injury.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the positive things that I see with a season is it's going to be a lot of exciting play. I'm really interested to see how some of these managers manage their bullpen.
60 games. You only got 60 games.
You only got 60 games going. You're going to see guys that take a lot less time off. The strategies. And that's what a lot of the baseball purists really like, is they look at the strategies. The statistics are going to be huge too, because you're not going to see anybody break like the home run record or anything like that.
Well, we might. We might.
Yeah, but
if that happens, that they getting tested immediately.
Right, but we have the potential to see somebody like Mike Trout bat 400 average. Because that's possible in a 60-game season. So now it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out. One thing that you did say too is you look at like history last year with the Nationals. If they would have been in a 60-game season, they wouldn't have been the champs.
Right.
So now you've got incentive to where you have to get off to a fast start.
You have to.
You cannot slump for a month or 2 months. Like, you have to come out the gate swinging. One other thing that's a little bit different is their scheduling is going to be based off of regions.
Right.
So you're going to see a lot of teams. So I think they're going to do like 40 games within their division, and then they're going to do like 20 games interleague play. So you're going to see a lot less interleague play.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see more divisional matchups, which if you've got a crappy division, you've got an opportunity to really flourish this year.
But who really has a crappy division though? Because the NL East ain't no crappy division.
No.
And you have, I mean, the NL West, that's tough. You got 3 teams that could potentially win that division, maybe even 4. The Central, and then you go to the AL. I mean, maybe the AL Central may be the closest to a crappy division, and that's not really a crappy division because you still got the Indians and the Royals. They always. I mean, lately they've been okay during stretches, and again, like you said, 60 games. Anybody could get hot for 60 games.
But see, here's the thing too. I think in all sports, crappy divisions changes each year. You know what I mean? Like, and that a lot has to do with that, with injuries, whatever the case may be. But like one year there might be a division that you're like, man, everybody sucked in that division. Then next year, like the champion comes out of that division. So it'll all depend on what if a team does all get COVID. You know what I mean? And they got to sit out or they got to take lesser players, just to put together a team. And you are fortunate enough to be in that division and you get to play that team 10 times. I mean, it's little factors like that is going to make it interesting to watch. So I hope that they do have a season. I'm just a little skeptical of a lot of the details and how they're going to work it out.
And I look at it like this: the Korean baseball league's been going on for what, like 2 months now, and they've been doing all right.
Yeah,
So I don't see why it can't work in the States. It should. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some guys on some of the teams that have gotten coronavirus. We don't know everybody on any of those rosters, so that would affect it. So I'm sure somebody's gotten it, and they're able to have that guy quarantined and bring in the next guy.
So this is how I feel in baseball, right? I feel like that they were under a lot of pressure to get the season started, and they didn't think through a lot of the things that the NBA thought through. Like, I think it was like one of those last-ditch efforts, like, you know what? Both sides look bad. The owners look bad. The players look bad. I mean, you got the players that – I mean, and to an extent, and we talked about how we agree with the players a little bit, but the other side of it is with everything that's going on in the country, all the people that are unemployed, are you really arguing about money? And then you look at from an owner standpoint, it's like you guys make billions of dollars every year. At some point, your business is going to take an L. This is something that you can't, it's an up and down of being a business owner. So when sales are bad, do you automatically say, like, you know what? Everybody in my company's got to take this loss too.
Right.
That's not the way. No, seriously, though. I mean, and that's what they try to do. Like, oh man, pandemic going on. Y'all should understand. You got to take a pay cut, and that's not how we operate in this country. So,
all right. So, real quick before we get to the winner, what is? I wanted to ask you this. Probably like the last couple weeks. What is your take on Dr. Fauci always having something to say in regards to the sports? How do you feel about him, being the one who's saying, yay, I don't know if they're going to have a season. I think they should, because he's always all over the place. So what's your take on him?
You know what? He's the subject matter expert. And I hear him. And to be honest, everything he's brought up has been legitimate. Now, I think a lot of us, for selfish reasons, to say, you know what, yeah, go ahead. You know what I mean? Because nobody's going to want to sit through the fall and go without football. So it's that guilty pleasure to where you're like, yeah, you hope they're being safe. But for the most part, people aren't really as concerned with whether or not people are social distancing. I mean, I even take myself, for instance. I mean, when I was just talking about baseball, it wasn't like, oh, player safety. It was like, you know what? If they infect each other, they're not going to play. So I think most people.
So and so the thing is with this, I think with these professional athletes, they'll still be okay. I don't think it'll really affect them as much as someone with underlying health issues, So they'll be okay. You then concern yourself with their kids because that is a factor. Their kids and things like that. I just want him to be consistent. I don't mind him saying what he's saying, but you can't one day say on Monday you're saying the NFL will be fine to play without fans. Then you're saying the very next day you're saying the NFL may not have a season. Then you're going to say, you know what, everything's going to be fine. They'd probably be able to have limited fans. It's just like there's no consistency. And I know everything is fluid, but those are like two huge extremes that we actually saw. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Well, you know what that tells me? And it's been the same thing throughout COVID. It's been inconsistent because nobody knows. And as much of an expert as he is, maybe he doesn't know. But I think he's brought up legitimate points. I mean, I think a lot of people don't want to hear some of his legitimate. You're right.
That might be it. They don't want to hear. What do you mean we're not going to have any football? No football, no basketball.
You might not hear that. Yeah. People will risk everybody catching COVID on the football field before they try to sit out a whole season.
I agree. I mean, it's so the trickle down effect is how with college, it's like this. If you don't have if the schools aren't open. If the schools aren't open, I find it really hard to believe that they're going to have a college football season.
Yeah. Okay. So college is a little bit different. I mean, I'm kind of with you there. But because of all the money that is made off of football, they're going to bend whatever rule. They are going to figure out how to have football. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Everybody can test positive. They'll be like, you know what? Well, they all got it, so they might as well play.
You might as well. Hey, they got it already, so Yeah, I get that. But all right, let's get to the winner of the week.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right, so this week, I didn't want to talk NASCAR because my winner of the week is Mr. Jerry Baxter. If you don't know who Jerry Baxter is, he's Bubba Wallace's crew chief. And the reason why he is my winner of the week is his number one job is to make sure that man doesn't run out of gas. He had the whole nation watching him race. People that have never watched NASCAR are watching NASCAR. And in your big moment, you let Bubba Wallace run out of gas. I was like, hire me. I may not know how to change the tires, but
wait. Scott, you don't know how to change the tire?
I know how to change the tire.
It's
been a while. Real talk, every chance I get, I call AAA.
I think you got that from me.
It does not matter. I know. You're right. I do know how to change the tire, but
I'm calling AAA. Look, I don't care, look, I'm calling AAA because I don't feel like dealing with none of that crap. So
that man was hotter than a firecracker. He was like, he don't know how to change the tire. Yeah, I know how to change the tire.
I just wanted to get that. I just wanted to make sure we were clear that you knew how to change the tire. So now that you know how to change the tire, you can continue. My bad, man. My bad.
Been a while though, but I mean, shoot, we've had our hoopties. Everybody's had them, but yeah, man, Jerry Boxer, man, how do you let that man run out of gas? I mean, before we get to all the serious stuff, I was like, he ran out of gas. I mean, that easily cost him
The race.
it cost him the race because he ran out of gas. So, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Well, first of all, as a crew chief, your job, like you said, is to make sure that your driver's car is sufficient and it has everything that it needs, whether it's gas, new tires, all of those things. So you cannot let your especially this guy, not right now. You can't let him run out of gas. Not after everything that just happened. You know, so yeah. He deserves that. And I think Bubba Wallace is gonna have a nice little stern talk with him. And Richard Petty.
Well, the whole thing is with all the technology that they got, right? And I've never been part of a crew pit or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure they can gauge, everything on that car. And I mean, at what point do you like, oh man, dude, you about to run out of gas? We'll get you there. Or it's got to be like the way it was described to me is it's a lot of technique and strategy in it. You know what I mean? Like when they stop, okay, we're gonna top you off. We're gonna pause. Yeah, pause on that. But I ain't gonna say.
Grow up, man. Grow up, man. Come on.
we'll gas you up. But yeah, man. So we had to talk about it, man. What's your thoughts on NASCAR?
Well, NASCAR right now they're getting the publicity and the notoriety. I don't want to say notoriety, the attention. They're getting the publicity and attention that they've been starving for since Dale Earnhardt Sr. You know, they've been starving for some sort of attention and being able to be recognized. So, you know, it's unfortunate that there was a noose that was found in the thing. So let's get to that first. So the FBI did their investigation, and they said that it wasn't a hate crime, and this thing was just been sitting in the garage. It's like I guess a pulley or whatever, but it's been sitting in the garage since October or November of 2019. I think that's the bigger problem, that this thing that even resembles a noose has been sitting there for months and no one said anything.
So, to my understanding, it's in all the garages.
I didn't see that.
I'm just throwing it out there that's what they're saying, is that this is pretty common to have this type of pulley. And
that's fine. But for it to be shaped as a noose, that's an issue. And for nobody to see that or say anything, that kind of tells you what we need to know about the nature of NASCAR, because nobody found it even remotely an issue. So now we need more diversity. Clearly,
okay. So I'm with you there. I'm actually I like the way that NASCAR did handle it, regardless if it was a noose or not a noose or a pulley. At least they took it seriously. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are like, oh, they jumped the gun. But with what's going on in the world, they had to do the due diligence of investigating it right. You know what I mean? They had to make sure that it wasn't a hate crime. I mean, you got – and from what I've been hearing, Bubba Wallace has been very active with removing the Confederate flag. Right. And that's something that a lot of people were angry about. He's he's a black driver, so you know you have to stand up for him and do your due diligence and investigate. So I get all that. I think the biggest part that disappoints me, and I'm about to put NASCAR back on the hot seat, is all the Confederate flags that were riding around the track before the race, the defund NASCAR like sign, and the way that the players, yes, they're walking with Bubba Wallace, but it would have been nice to see some of them stand up to their fans. and really stand with him and take some sort of stance like the NFL players took, when they protested, to let their fans know that, no, this isn't tolerated here. Because a lot of their fans are upset because they feel like, you know what? This is us. This is our environment. How dare you tell us that we can't practice racism?
How dare you tell us not to be racist?
Yeah.
How dare
like,
you?
what? Like, hold on. You got basketball, you got football, you gave up on baseball, but really, you coming into NASCAR and you trying to regulate us too? They were hot. They were tight. But at the same time, I didn't see. I saw a whole bunch of players. Race car drivers walking with them, but nobody took that stance to be like, you know what, we're going to take the next step. And that's where I was kind of disappointed.
So when you say that stance, you mean at that moment, or do you mean like after the race when they were in? Because I have seen some guys say something on, they've talked on Twitter, and I guess I know what you're saying. Twitter is just Twitter, but I think that still is a big deal just for them to like acknowledge those things.
I would like to see more people acknowledge it. I think
okay.
I think right now I'm past the point of, oh yeah, we sympathize with you, we'll walk with you, and we'll give you a hug, but it's the action and what you're doing.
Right. And look, and I'm with you on that. So I guess we can go right. Let's stay in NASCAR. So they do. I agree that they need to. They're doing more, but they need to get more diversity. And what I'm saying is, they like have hold internships at HBCUs. Don't just do it just to do it. If you want more black drivers, not saying that they do, but if you do want more black drivers, you need to go where the black people are. So in most cities where there are race cars, or race tracks, there are HBCUs because most of the racetracks are in the South. So they are HBCUs. So I do feel like if you want to create more diversity, you need to hit the HBCUs, and offer scholarships.
I say that's one avenue. I know some companies, they put together like groups to focus on how they get rebranded, and they bring African Americans in, they bring other minorities in, to show them like some of the, not the rules, but how that they can make improvements to appeal to like a broader like audience. But I won't call it NASCAR. I don't think that they're interested in that.
I can't say that. I won't say that. Maybe if this was maybe a couple years ago, I would. But the fact that one of your best drivers is black, and you took down the Confederate flag, that's a huge. As crazy as it sounds, that's a huge deal.
But here's the thing, though. That's been in play for 5 years in NASCAR.
I understand, but it's done now.
The Confederate flag has been pretty much. I think it might have been 2016, so it may not have been quite 5 years. But they said that it was outlawed then. But it was a rule that was never enforced until a month ago.
I get it. But
so there's a lot of gaps there,
And again, I get it. Some people may feel like a lot of these sports, a lot of these owners, and we're about to get into football again, but a lot of these owners are not necessarily owners, but a lot of these corporations, whoever, are just doing it because it's like the thing to do now, not necessarily because they feel that way. I can't tell you how somebody feels, but I guess it's a start. I don't want to just like, oh yeah, you're finally standing up. But why did it take a man to die in order for you to say that Black Lives Matter? It just, so let's get to football. So Jerry Jones. We'll start with NFL and work our way back to Mississippi. So Jerry Jones still hasn't said anything, and I just find it peculiar that the man that always has something to say doesn't have anything to say, and DeMarcus Lawrence, he kind of, would you call that defending him? He kind of defended him.
What did DeMarcus Lawrence say?
So he pretty much was saying, I guess I could pull it up, but he pretty much was saying that why are we waiting for Jerry Jones to say something when we should be taking the bull by the horn and do more and put more do less talking and more action. And so my issue with that is, because you can say that about any owner, but when the Colin Kaepernick stuff was going on, Jerry Jones was the main one in the front line talking about the Cowboys would not kneel, and he said if they pretty much saying if you kneel, you're not gonna play, you know. But now the tables have turned and everything has shifted, and more people are aware of why they were doing the kneeling. So now when we know, and even the you can say what you want about Roger Goodell, he said they made a mistake. He said they made a mistake, that the players should have been able to peacefully protest and kneel and do whatever. And so we've seen that. The commissioner has said that. So now we don't hear anything from, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, we don't hear anything from Jerry Jones. I just think that's weird.
I don't think it's weird. I think it's consistent.
It's not consistent.
I want to tell you why I think it's consistent. Because Jerry Jones thinks of himself and his brand first. He's not going to rile up his base, the Cowboy Nation. You know what I mean? That's
that'll be a first thing, Scott.
Well, I'm talking about if he gets in the middle of that, which and let's be clear, I think that he should have said something, but it doesn't surprise me that he didn't say anything. Because he's thinking more of the Cowboys and how his image would be. And the other thing, too, is he probably doesn't want to say anything. I mean, have you thought of that? I mean, Jerry Jones is a Donald Trump supporter.
That doesn't so.
But think about it, though. If you add it all up, does he really want to even say anything?
Tom Brady's is a Donald Trump supporter. So is Kanye West. So is Roger Goodell.
Right.
I mean, what is that? I don't understand that. Like, just that's no excuse. That's not an excuse because he
may feel the same way that Donald Trump feels. I mean, here's the thing about Jerry Jones, and I'm just gonna call it what it is. He played the middle all through that flag stuff. You saw him. I mean, he was kneeling for a second, and then people started booing, and then he got up.
Well, he knelt. So no, he only knelt once, and that's when everybody knelt, and that was when Donald Trump called the players and sons of bitches. That's when he, because everybody knelt at that point. That was the only time everybody had Kaepernick's back, and even then
he didn't have Kaepernick's back. He did it just because
it was a photo op. It was a photo op.
Exactly.
It was a photo op. No, I agree. It was a photo op. And I just feel that he should say something. If he doesn't support Black Lives Matter and he doesn't think Black Lives Matter, then he should say that. I'm not going to say that he feels that way because you're not going to find anyone that played for him. You're going to be hard pressed to find a black man that played for the Cowboys that had something bad to say about Jerry Jones. You don't really see that.
Well, does it change anything? I mean,
does what change anything?
If you're an athlete and you have the opportunity to be a free agent and you're watching this, does it change anything?
I don't think so. I don't at this point. I don't. So here's the thing. You have somebody that just got there a couple months ago that called him out. Gerald McCoy called him out. and said we need to hear from the owners, and he said Jerry Jones by name. So I mean, you know,
he doesn't think he has. He doesn't think he has to, and he's not.
Who?
He didn't have to.
But so here's what's gonna happen though, because Jerry Jones made himself who he is. He's gonna continue to get called out on these different platforms, and that pressure is gonna build. And he's eventually going to, because we've never seen this before. No matter what the situation was, no matter what the Cowboys' record was, no matter, Jerry Jones has always said something. He's always said something, no matter what the situation was. So that not hear him say anything,
because he probably doesn't agree with
it
everything.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So hear me out on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't agree, it's not in his best interest to say anything. And that's where I'm trying to tell you is he's right in the middle as he usually is. He realizes. So here's the thing, right? Well, what happened with Drew Brees? People started to realize, like, this ain't the time. So he's smart enough to know, and that's what I'm trying to tell you, like, with him, like, and his brand and the Cowboy Nation, he's smart enough to know, like, you know what? If I hop in the middle of this and tell people how I really think, it's not good. It won't be good. And therefore, he's saying nothing.
And he's gonna realize that he's not everybody else, and he's gonna realize that his silence is gonna speak volumes.
It's gonna speak volumes, but what will speak even more volumes is if it changed something. You said it, and I agree with you.
Well, we don't know yet because we still
continue to stay silent, and all those Cowboys are going to continue to suit up.
That's a little different. That's a little different because we don't have a Donald Sterling situation. All right, so that's where it's a little different because these guys are under. Dak just signed for $31 million yesterday, so these guys are under contract. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's totally different. So now Dak says, you know what? Forget this. I don't like it. He's not speaking up. He's not speaking up. So I'm just gonna I'm a free agent after this season anyway. So I'm gonna just leave.
No, I'll do you one better. People are going to do their job. They're going to keep their mouth shut like they always do, and what we've been quote unquote trained to do, and they're going to know where he stands, and life's going to go on. And I kind of agree with Lawrence when it's kind of like, why are we waiting on Jerry Jones to say anything?
So here and here's where I disagree because this kind of deals with the Kyrie Irving type thing. Why can't you do two things at once? Like now, yes, you can still have feet to the ground. You can still help the community. You can still all do this thing, and you can still call Jerry Jones out. You can still do both. Just because you're calling them out, don't mean that you're not doing the work. Like DeMarcus Lawrence is doing the work. Gerald McCoy is doing the work. That just because he had a quick 5 minutes or whatever, or a quick statement and said that we need to hear from the owners and we need to hear from Jerry Jones, that didn't stop him from walking that 2.5 miles on Juneteenth. That didn't stop the movement.
So let me ask you this. What would you be interested in Jerry Jones saying?
I don't care. I just want him to say something. My thing is this. Listen, and we've always said it. I'd rather, and again, I'm not saying that Jerry Jones is racist at all. But what I'm saying is, if you don't agree with Black Lives Matter, then say that. So we know where. So we know where everybody stands, and I don't want nobody behind my back saying that I don't mess with that N-word, blah blah blah. And you can come out and like Trump, you can hate him all you want. We know where he stands. And so it is what it is.
To an extent. We know where he stands, but he's not that crazy. Like he's not gonna like really go out there. Like he'll insinuate some stuff and he'll say some crazy stuff, but he's not gonna go out on a limb and say, I don't like Black Lives Matter.
No, I'm not. Yeah,
Nah,
of course, I'm
he's
not saying
gonna
that.
do that.
But and he even with the Colin Kaepernick thing, he's still towing the line, and he's still making it about the fight. He's still trying to control and change the narrative, which he at this point he's unsuccessful at doing that. So my thing with I don't really. I just want to hear something. You spoke about everything else. I want to hear something. Speak up on it, because this is not like it's an issue or a situation that's not really prevalent or not in the news. It's like, this is a story for everybody. And you had other countries protesting, you had all 50 states protesting, so it's not like it's something that's real small and little. You know what I'm saying? This is a huge deal. This is a huge thing. So yeah, he should say something. He's Jerry Jones. He's the Cowboys they're the most popular. They're the highest value sports franchise of all of them, of everyone.
And with all that being said, I still don't care if he says something. Nobody cares if Jerry Jones says something or not.
I think you're missing the point. You're missing the point, because when we talk, football is king, right?
Okay.
Football is king, and you want to hear from and when you're in those situations, you want to hear from whoever it is that is. Jerry Jones is the top guy. We're not going to sit here and be naive and say like Jerry Jones may be the most important guy in the NFL, more important than the damn commissioner.
See, here's my point. If you haven't said something by now, I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to toe the line or somebody that's just going to put out a statement just to say that they put out the statement. It is what it is. Like, either you're here or you're here. Choose one. You know what I mean? And so for Jerry Jones, it's just kind of like whatever. You know what I mean?
But you can't. So now we're kind of making assumptions. So you don't want to assume that because he's silent. I mean, and again, I know I said that silence speaks volumes, right? But what if? This is just a what if. What if he's just like what you said? I have a fan base. I have a fan base on both sides, but I feel this way. But I don't want to deter another fan base.
So here's the advantage of not saying something, or the disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
I get to assume what you're thinking because you haven't told me what you're thinking.
Well,
so I get to interpret your silence either which way I want to, because you
absolutely. You're right. You're right.
What you, and that's the problem with not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just I don't care. I don't care how Jerry Jones feels. Hey, he can come out and say, you know what, I'm against everything. I wouldn't care. It wouldn't make me any difference.
That's a lie. I don't believe you. Because if that's the case, if he was to come out and say that, you would give him winner of the week.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, don't sit there lie.
No. It wouldn't be a very smart move, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't be that surprising. Like I wouldn't be that surprised if he did come out and say, I don't care. I don't care about the movement. Screw all y'all. It wouldn't surprise me. But it wouldn't surprise me.
That would surprise me. No. He employs way too many black people to say he doesn't care about any of y'all.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Damn. All right, so Mississippi, the state of Mississippi has they have the Confederate flag in their state flag, which is crazy. So there's a number of things with this, and I mean, this is the NCAA. Well, first the SEC said that there won't be any championship games in the state of Mississippi until they change the state flag. Then the NCAA doubled down and said there won't be any championships of any kind in Mississippi until they change the state flag. Then you had Kylan, the running back for Mississippi State, saying that, and who is one of the best running backs in the league in the SEC, saying that he's not playing until the state flag is changed. So my position on that was good. Keep that pressure on their neck, and once he starts getting some allies, which again you always need allies. When you start getting some allies, then change is gonna come.
Yeah, nah, good for them. Good for them for calling them out. And I guess that's the messaging, is that it's not always about how you feel about a situation, but if it's offensive to somebody else,
One person,
then you're doing something wrong.
right? And so do you think that flag is gonna get changed?
Not anytime soon.
Really? So you don't think? So here's my thing. I think if I forget Mississippi State's head coach, I'm drawing a blank right now, but if you got Ole Miss coach, he used to coach at Alabama, the offensive coordinator. But if he says something, if the Mississippi State coach says something, if all these schools in Mississippi say something, because they're gonna miss out on millions of dollars because they're not gonna be able to host any championship events. That's, I mean, you got to start somewhere.
I can see Mississippi being stubborn and trying to hold out. I can just see it. It wouldn't surprise me.
All right, so and now this dude, he's gonna have to put his money where his mouth is. He said he's not playing if there's a Confederate flag on that state flag. Do you see one, do you see him sitting out? Two, do you see anybody else following suit?
I see him sitting out, and I see maybe a couple other people following suit.
But it wouldn't be enough.
Nope.
I think when you start having the school, so it's gonna have to be the schools that force their hand.
Like you said, it's a good start, and I'm not going to say that they're not going to change it, but I think that we've got an uphill battle with stuff like that. Like a lot of military posts, talking about they need to change the names of them. It's a lot of things, a lot of like statues that are coming down. Some places have been a little bit more receptive to it, but you are going to have places that are just kind of like, they're going to fight. They're going to fight not to do it because they feel like they're in the right. Like, prime example, right? I was listening to Bomani Jones and Will Cain. And Bomani Jones went to Will Cain's butt, which I listen to Will Cain. Sometimes he makes good points. Sometimes he doesn't. But he could not admit that he was just wrong.
About what?
They were talking about NASCAR. And Will Cain was bringing up that the NASCAR rushed to judgment with the noose, and it was a mistake for them to bring in the FBI and do all this, and they jumped to too many conclusions, and good for them for getting the egg on their face. And Bomani Jones took him to town. I mean,
as he should have. I
want to tell you, that's the first time I've seen somebody get under Will Cain's skin. He let Bomani Jones go, went to commercial, came back on the air and just talked about how he didn't deserve to get a sermon. And, this was, he was livid. But at the end of the day, and he won't admit it because he couldn't admit it then, he was wrong and he lost that debate. And I guess the point that I'm making is sometimes, like, when people have values that they think are right, it takes a lot to really change their mind. And he pretty much, I mean, I guess a lot of it too. I realize he's leaving ESPN.
Yeah.
Going to Fox News or whatnot. But yeah,
is he going to Fox?
Yeah, he's going to Fox News.
Oh, not Fox Sports?
Fox News.
That's different. You talking about Bomani Jones or Will Cain?
Will Cain.
I thought you were talking about Bomani Jones. I'm about to say,
Oh,
what?
Nah, I was talking about.
Oh, no. I can see that. Yeah. No, definitely. So, yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Will Cain's a Trump supporter. So, I don't even think it's more of just being a Republican. They just want to. They are what they are. It is what it is. So, yeah, things are changing. It's still a fight. You still have to. I mean, it is what it is. It's the process, I guess you could say. It's a process, and I think that some of these not some. I think these statues should come down, right? So I was and these school names should change. But I thought about this because I remember I was coaching at a high school. It was Jeb Stuart High School, right? And they changed, like, the last year I was there was the last year it was Jeb Stuart. They changed it to Justice. It was, and people in that town were like, they were fighting it, but it was too much pressure that they had to. The name had to change, and I think that the name should change, and I think these statues should come down. But I do think that they should be in some sort of museum because people still need to know the history, right? Whether it's good or bad, history is history, and so these things should be in like some sort of museum. Whether they whatever, they should be in a museum. Because however you feel about Robert E. Lee, he was a slave owner. He was a Confederate general. He had some sort of U.S. history. You see what I'm saying? So although they shouldn't have statues, they should be in the history books. But they don't need a statue to be in the history book. They definitely don't need you don't need that statue in the middle of Richmond. Robert E. Lee doesn't need to have a school named after him, nor does Jeb Stuart or any of those Confederate. They don't even need streets named after them. Those need to be changed.
I agree, but it just goes to show you what we value in this country at a certain point. Mm-hmm. What I mean? And that's the bigger issue with it is for a long time, people didn't see anything wrong with this type of stuff. Right. And I guess that's the point that Bomani Jones was trying to make to Will Cain is that you've got to open your eyes. You're only looking at your perspective. Right. You're not looking at the whole perspective or the other side. And when you take this stance, you're discrediting how the other side feels. And that's not acceptable anymore. Right. So, he had a tough time with that.
Yeah. they on his way out. On his way out.
Yeah. So if he was on TV, I know he would have been bright red.
And it was on it was on a radio show.
He said something. He was like, this is my show. You want me to talk? I was like, God damn. Yeah, he was talking.
And so it was on TV. So you get because they recorded and they show it live, so like on ESPN. Excuse me, like ESPN News or something like that. So
I gotta, if you get an opportunity,
I'm gonna go look that joint up.
Yeah,
man.
You gotta look that joint up, but you gotta listen to it, man. He was going to him, man. And like I said, normally Will Cain is the one that gets under people's skin. Like he never gets riled. This was the first time that he got him. I mean, he's lost plenty of debates.
Right.
Normally, it's just kind of like, dang, I always looked at Will Cain like Skip Bayless. Like sometimes they'll go way left field, and you'll be like, okay, they gotta lose the debate, but it's Skip Bayless, it's Will Cain. He was tight, man. He was tight.
Yeah. Hey, that's how it is sometimes. I mean, and he's probably one of those that's like, man, wow, all the focus on these black people. But I mean, that it is what it is. Let us get our time to shine. I mean, the problem is, I think he realized it just like they realized, like those white guys realized it in the NBA years ago, that once these black people start infiltrating the league, it's a wrap. And in the NFL, they're like, black lives do matter, and you're gonna realize it. And sorry, we are people too. But yeah, man, I think that's about it. I think we covered everything I had on my list. I think we covered for the most part. We didn't cover the ESPYs, but it's all good. We could talk about that next time. It ain't no big deal. It was actually pretty good. Did you watch?
I caught the clips. Caught the intro.
It was kind of hard to like. It was just different. It was different, but there were some good stories. Of course, like the Jimmy V and what's his name? Kevin Love won an award. Yeah. And so it was some good moments. But I like to see the awards like an award show, not virtual, but it's all good. But yeah, man, we done. But hey man, happy birthday. I know your birthday's this weekend. So you got anything planned? Are you gonna do a Zoom call like everybody's been doing?
I don't have anything planned, man. I don't have nothing planned.
Oh wait, before we go, I've been thinking about this all day. And yo, man, you was with family this weekend, so you wasn't at the battle this weekend. Yo, I'm calling you out, man. I'm calling you. Yeah, you. I'm calling you, Scott. I'm calling you out. So when you ready to battle, you know what? That's my. So
you calling me out?
I'm calling you out. You right. Oh, you right there.
I'm one and done.
Oh no. We not no. Just like they putting the pressure on Mississippi's neck. Ain't no one and done. Ain't no one and done.
Let me ask. Somebody said that'd be a good battle.
No.
Or you just decided to call me
No,
out?
I was driving earlier and I said, wait a minute. Scott always this came out the blue. Scott always talking some smack about the music. Why don't he ever battle me? He ain't never battled me.
Because I don't stand a chance against you, bro.
Yo, first of all, I know, but I'm calling you out, and
I don't stand the chance. I don't have the music knowledge base.
Whatever.
It's easy to talk. It's easy to talk stuff, to talk mess to you, but to actually.
Nah. Hey, look, you guys. I'll let you practice. But it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one this weekend, though.
Who's battling this weekend?
Ern and Oak. They was talking some.
Who battled last weekend?
Who battled last weekend? It was
Charles and Oak, right?
No, Charles and Ern. And Ern won.
Man, my man Charles can't catch a break.
Yeah, he said. So look, you'll be there Sunday, but I'm calling you out.
All right.
Calling you out.
So
I'll let you think about it. Happy birthday.
I'll accept your challenge.
Hold on 1 second. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Hold on. We can't. You gotta do this right, man. You said. Oh, you probably didn't hear that because I got my headphones on.
But I accept the challenge.
Okay. All right.
I would be definitely listening to Oak, Diddy, and Ern. They were talking mess.
Yeah, you know how they do when how we are when everybody gets around each other, man.
Who you got in that?
I don't know. I think if Oak stays on this game,
you beat both of them, right?
Yeah.
You beat both of them.
Yeah, I beat Oak. It wasn't even close, but I mean it was close at first, but he ain't standing a chance.
Ern is a tough competitor, and
that's gonna be a good one though. I will say that's gonna be a good one because you're gonna have the music, then you're gonna have the trash talk in between the songs.
So here's the thing about Ern. Ern does better as the underdog.
That is true. That is true.
So Oak has got like a wide range of like music, like he knows music, but Ern doesn't like to be slept on. So that it's like he has like a different type of chip.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna make a good battle. It's gonna make a really, really, really good. I've learned to never count Ern out in anything.
Absolutely. Don't
Never.
count them out, man. Do not count them out.
Count them out. Yeah. So
and before we reach us on IG, the Off the Record Show, Bliss.fm, you can catch the shows, Twitter's the OTR show. What I'm forgetting, Facebook Off the Record. Oh, and I said off the Facebook. It says off the Facebook. Whatever. On YouTube, follow us on YouTube, man.
okay.
And we're gonna put more content. Hey, yo, what's up with this? You don't like this background?
Nah, I'm
You don't like the yellow?
Good on that
All right,
joint.
man. All right, this is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Boy, Scotty B. Peace.
All right.